Thank you very much. Welcome to Leadership Speak, an advanced Toastmaster club for leadership development. We are one of the top 5 clubs globally. I'm Karine, your sergeant arm of the meeting. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leadership Speak is a premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused primarily on leadership development in everything we do. Our timer has a virtual hand raise, so we all can immediately see who is keeping the time. I will introduce our Toastmaster of the day, Afton. Afton Legendre is a 3-year Toastmaster member. She is a member of the European Club in Paris and joined Leadership Speak to level up speaking skills and collaborate with leaders worldwide. Please welcome warmly our Toastmaster of the day, Afton.
Thank you so much, Karina. Sometimes adversity is what you need to face in order to become successful. Those are the words of the American author Zig Ziglar. I am Afton Legendre, and it is my absolute pleasure to be your Toastmaster of the day today. Yes, our premier leadership club is filled with resilient leaders. A resilient leader has the ability to adapt quickly, bounce back from unanticipated setbacks, and get their organizations back on the road to success. I am of the firm belief that before being a resilient leader to others, I must first be a resilient leader to myself. How many of you consider yourselves to be a resilient person in your everyday life? Please just type yes or no in the chat. When faced with obstacles, are you flexible and able to see different perspectives and opportunities? Are you agile and able to pivot and change directions quickly when required? Do you always remain optimistic and realistic no matter the circumstance? And most importantly, are you able to recover quickly and find a solution? My life, I consider it to be built on resilience. Last year, as president of my community club, the Europeans, I was faced with several obstacles whilst organizing my first area contest with colleagues. Conflict amongst members, miscommunication, disorganization, simply put, chaos. In that situation, and throughout my presidency, I had to be resilient. I had to be a resilient leader and constantly keep in my mind the main objective, getting the job done as best as possible. As we continue today at Leadership Speak on our resilience path, I would like to introduce our Toastmaster, Claudette, to raise a toast. Toastmaster Claudette, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and of course, resilient leaders. Nelson Mandela once said, "I never lose. I either win or learn." Many of us know that he showed remarkable resilience. He navigated many adversities to become one of history's most outstanding, resilient leaders. Today, we raise a toast to resilient leaders. These leaders demonstrate strength when facing adversities, challenges, difficulties, mental and physical injuries, trials, trauma, and more. We must practice resilient leadership in this time of change, uncertainties, and setbacks to adapt, bounce forward, develop a growth mindset, and become better self-directed leaders in and outside of Toastmasters. Resilient leaders can and do stumble or fall, but rise higher and stronger. They adapt, grow, and learn from each failure or setback as they shine, inspire, motivate, and lead organizations to success. I recall being unsuccessful at several job interviews for different positions, but persevering until I was hired as a team leader within my organization. I did not allow setbacks to be obstacles to achieving my goals. With gratitude, I recognize our leaders who persevere individually and collectively and turn trials and adversities into opportunities to learn, grow, innovate, and inspire. Resilient leadership guides us in challenging times, turning adversities into opportunities and strength. Let us all strive to be resilient, self-directed leaders, leaders who can recover and rebound from present and future life challenges and setbacks. Fellow Toastmasters, please unmute your microphones. Raise your glasses and toast to resilient leaders.
Resilient leaders.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Claudette, for a very dynamic toast. Moving right ahead, I would like to invite our timer, Hannah Schmidt. Please, Hannah, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. I'm Hannah. I'm your timer for today. And I shall time you according to the times as they are on the agenda. And that is the minimum, that is the medium, and that is the maximum time. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Hannah, for that precise role description. Next, we have Toastmaster Angela Brown, who is our grammarian. Angela, the virtual floor is yours.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests, my responsibility as grammarian today is to pay close attention to the speakers and listening to their language uses. I will make note of improper use of language as well as outstanding words, quotes, thoughts, and sayings. As grammarian, it is also my role to introduce the word of the day. Today's word of the day is unflappable, having or showing calmness in crisis. Example of this word usage is, I pride myself on being unflappable, even in the most chaotic circumstances. I will record how many times the word of the day has been used, and I will come back later when I am called on to give my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Angela. And I hope that we have an unflappable meeting. Moving right ahead, I would like to introduce our education speaker today, Toastmaster Paramjit Singh. For Toastmaster Paramjit Singh, resilience is part of his life. It is to have grit. He has passed through different phases in his life with upward and downward curves, and resilience kept him going. I would first like to introduce his evaluator, Toastmaster Elroy Vaz, to give us a description of his speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Elroy Vaz.
Yeah, thank you, Afton. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and Toastmaster Paramjit in particular. Toastmaster Paramjit is delivering his Level 5, Project 2, Wake Up the Resilient Leader in You. The purpose of this speech is for him to practice developing and presenting a longer speech. This speech will be for 18 to 22 minutes, and the style that he will be adopting is a keynote speech, and I wish him all the best on this speech. Thank you, Toastmaster Afton.
Thank you very much. Please give your support and applaud our Leadership Speak Education speaker, Paramjit Singh. Wake up the resilient leader in you. Wake up the resilient leader in you, Paramjit Singh. The floor is yours.
Paramjit, your video is off.
Just 1 minute, Mr. Brahm. I will be in the PowerPoint.
All right, thank you.
The great karate master, Bruce Lee, said, "Do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one." Good evening, Toastmasters and the guests. Have you ever seen this logo, Cafe Coffee Day? With a very good logo, a lot can happen over there. I hope most of the people from India might have seen that, but my friends around the world might have not seen this one. This is one of the biggest chain of cafe coffee chain in India. They serve about 1.3 billion cups a day, and they are present in Australia, Czech Republic also, Malaysia, as well as Egypt, Nepal, and Malaysia. This was a brainchild of Vijay Siddhartha, who started this cafe chain in 1996 in Bangalore with the first cafe. And this cafe chain became one of the biggest chain in India with 1,000 outlets by 2011, which was started in 1996. However, in 2019, July, Mr. Siddhartha, he was not able to be traced. He gone missing. And then a flash came in the news. CCD founder Vijay Siddhartha's body found on river bank. Why? Because CCD has got a total debt of 72 billion Indian rupees in 2019. And it was very difficult for him to bear this. And he jumped into a river in Bangalore and died. So was this an end for the Cave Coffee Day? No, it was not an end. his wife, Malavika, who was not at all involved in business, but was a silent board member in the organization. In this time of distress, she chose to represent the company and work as a CEO. And by 2020, the debt came to 32 billion Indian rupees, and 2021, 17 billion. And today, it stands out to half a billion Indian rupees. This was her grit. This was her adaptation. This was the way she worked out. In the time of this distress, she has done a wonderful job. Most of us, when we come across such adversity in our life, loss of family member, loss of business, loss of job, we certainly don't know what to do, how to react to it, how to find the solution. But this lady made it a point that she is almost, and without even getting anyone out of the company, 25,000 employees. So what was the thing which was making her going? It was a resilience, we all know. Now, there are a lot of definitions for resilience. All of us, we say we are a resilient leader. Let us see the resilience from a child point of view.
Paramjit, there isn't any sound now. We're not hearing anything.
You're right.
It doesn't need sound, it's speaking for itself.
So a child says, if you fall, the toy falls, it comes back. Do we are like this? So let us see what the simplest example, a simple definition of resilience. Resilience is the ability to successfully sail through changes and challenges and to bounce back following periods of hardship. We have seen so many leaders, we have talked about so many leaders, but there are a lot of people around us in our family, in community, in Toastmasters, who are resilient leaders or resilient, have a lot of resilience. So I'd like to share a few aspects of resilience. The gentleman, Juan Jaws, he was a cycle racer. And when he was, after 2 years of racing, he met with an accident and lost his one leg and one arm. After 2 years, he started again. And he said, when I ride to win. He has not stopped it over here. all of his team members he has chosen or helped them are having some of the physical challenges or some other challenge. About a nation, Japan. After World War II, we all know what was the condition of Japan. However, now they became one of the best economy at that time. Our Mother Earth, how much we have tried to destroy it, but it's moving at the same pace. It is not changing. It is not saying that I'm not going to help you. It's not going to say that I'm not going to give you things. It's still being resilient, giving us everything. So why it is important to have resilience, and particularly at this juncture of time? Because we are in an area time where there is a lot of changes happening at a very fast, and we have a VUCA working with us. The volatile, the condition is very volatile. The speed, the rate and rapidity of change is really very fast, and we don't know how to cope up with us. We have uncertainty, unclear about here and now, and impact, affect, law of in unintended circumstances and consequences. We really are not understand what is happening. The times are really uncertain. We have all seen the COVID, and we have a lot of complexity to make multiple things aware on based of which we make our decisions. And ambiguous, we don't know what is going to happen, when it's going to happen, and about the meaning of even the right answer. So in such a situation, it's very difficult for everyone who is not having a resilience to live in this particular era of life. We all have to build our resilience as well as a resilient leader. Another thing which is very important, why it is at this juncture of time, now the people and the companies are not looking for your only educational qualification, your management skills. They are looking at resilient also, that how much this person can really withstand the pressures and can take the company out of the adversity in the time it comes. There was a study done by assessment done by Gendre Folkman assessment. It was done, data was collected from 500 people, 500 leaders, and these were all from manager ratings, were from managers, peers, direct reports, and other 40 behaviors. And what was found was non-resilient leaders were only 12% effective, and most resilient leaders were 87% effective. So certainly this is a time and this is an era of VUCA where we require the leaders who are resilient leaders and really can change the course of the companies at account of the adversity. So who is a resilient leader? Let us see. What is a resilient leadership? The ability to deal with a high level of challenge while maintaining or regaining a high level of effectiveness or well-being. It was said by Linda Hopes, but I want to add something. It is not only high level of effectiveness and well-being. I feel much higher level of effectiveness and well-being a leader's resilient leadership should have. So now, when we are in the era of VUCA, we certainly need to deal with the VUCA only, and the answer lies in VUCA only. So any leader is volatile. We should have a vision. A leader, if we know the condition is volatile, he should have a vision to have a being resilient, situational awareness, what is his foresight. Uncertain times, he should have an understanding. I am comfortable feeling I'm comfortable feeling uncomfortable. because we know there are uncertainties are going to come. And today we are facing daily new uncertainties. A lot of changes all over the global changes are there, geographical changes. How he is comfortable in feeling uncomfortable and how can we react it, that is the resilient leaders, one of the big traits. Now we have a complex area, but we need to have a clarity, not to have a full clarity, but understanding what is my area of working, what I am working within, so that the decision can be made at a faster pace. And for the ambiguous, we must be having agile. We must be agile and decide a course of action and be ready to change the course of action in case it is required. So, what are the traits of a resilient leader? Recovers from setbacks. Very much important. One of the biggest is stay optimistic and mission oriented, even in case of diverse, difficult times, difficult situations with the company, within family. Respond instead of simply reacting. Most of the time we react rather than responding with going deep into the situation. Make decisions with imperfect or maybe incomplete knowledge also. Because if you are waiting for the imperfect or incomplete, with you have to be perfect and complete, this may lead to even procrastination and you will not be able to make decisions. Emotional flexibility. He himself has to be emotional and not making the chaos whenever there's a, not making a big drama out of it, but have emotional flexibility to be understanding the emotions of others as well as his own to check when required. Positive response to change. Strengthened or improved by adversity. He should have more strength or has it improved by the adversity. This is the taste of a resilient leader. Now, a resilient leader is a human being. A human being, his own resilience is very much important. And anyone who, if you feel and we understand, there's a holistic way of everything, and our resilient leader has to have resilience, which is also holistic and should have 4 type of resilience so that he can really effective leader. He should have a physical stamina so that he can endure at his strength, that he can maintain himself physically movements, as well as in case of injury, he can come back. And mental health, mental resilience. He has to have a mental resilience so that he regain cognitive capacities under check. He should have a resilience, emotional. He knows how to deal with his emotions as well as others' emotional and work accordingly and keep them in check. And social resilience means he need to be having a social resilience in when he is dealing with people around him, because we all deal with people, human beings, in office, in our family also. So he has to have which is called comprehensive resilience score. Now, to gain these, to have all this type of 4 type of resilience, there are few things he has to do on the regular basis. And one is physical activity. If you are doing exercising, 80% of the cases, it is seen that your mental abilities also improve. You need to have a proper sleep for 7 to 9 hours to rejuvenate yourself again, and a sound sleep rather than wasting time on social media and other things. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is one of the factors. If you are really mindfulness and doing meditative, your abilities of creativity as well as doing things in a different perspective, looking at this perspective improves, and this is very much important. Reappraisal. Reappraisal means You have to always reapprise yourself that what are the beliefs and assumptions which are stopping you from becoming resilient, and have to tuck them away with the time frame. Severing, always looking for the positive emotions, working on the positive emotions, gratitude. Certainly, when there is an issue, we must offer gratitude to God for the trainings what we are getting out of the resilience. And we need to have a connections. Means he has to have a social connection, meeting the people, dating people, meeting them regularly, and have a connection so that in case he need any people who are helping him to come out of his own way, it will be helpful to them. And in a contact. Contact means just not only meeting and greeting, he should have a contact which is really shaking hands, hugging people, so that he understand that and he get that type of energy which helps him to. So these are some of the everyday resilience practices which will help. Now, how can you improve or become a resilient leaders in your own organization or even in Toastmasters? Encourage leader to see obstacles as challenges. Obstacles always teach us. So we should always see obstacles as challenges and what is learning out of it. Teach them that stress is not always a negative. Stress gives us a lot of positive things also. So teach the people, leaders under you, leader working under you, that stress is not always a negative thing. Get comfortable with discomfort. One of our leaders, Brahm, always say that, are you comfortable with the discomfort? I really like this particular word because it's very difficult for comfortable in discomfort, but if you can do this, you are becoming a resilient. Learn to regularly reflect on the past. And ability to regulate emotions, very important. If you are not regulating your emotion and you are in a state of depletion where you make yourself all chaos with the drama, you're certainly not going to make other people also helping them to regulate their emotion. What is your resilience score? 1 to 10. If it is less than 5, how to become resilient? Do an exercise on the regular basis. Go back to the past and see how you reacted in one situation and have few questions which you can work upon. What was the specific circumstance? What do you think and feel at time? What action did you take at that time to come out of that situation or particular adversity? How did you get through it? What did you learn from it that has made you more resilient today? Make it a regular habit to reflect. And in Toastmasters, we always want to be self-reflected leaders and be resilient. And there's a lot of trainings, everything, particularly if you become XCOM member, you understand that how resilient you can become. And I know we have one of the very good resilient leader, Brahm. At this age also, he's trying to do his best in the circumstances, starting from, I understand, he talked about me speak to people and he made the club to this station. We all Toastmaster leader must look at him and find out his resiliency and how can we evaluate in ourselves. And to always remember this one thing, which will help you to become resilient. Men never made any material as resilient as the human spirit. Keep reminding yourself and walk on the path of being a resilient leader. Over to you, Toastmaster today.
Thank you very much, Paramjit, for your captivating speech. Moving right along, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Toastmaster Marie Cusin. She wants us to get inspired by our inner resilient leader, imitate him, and get moving. Her evaluator is Toastmaster Karine Baptiste, I would like to call Karine Baptiste to the floor to give more details on Toastmaster Marie Cusin's speech. Over to you.
Thank you, Afton. This is my privilege to evaluate Marie Cusin. Her pathway is dedicated to dynamic leadership, researching and presenting. She will deliver a speech between 5 and 7 minutes. Research and present an unfamiliar topic, organize a speech clearly to maximize audience understanding. Craft clear and engaging transitions between main sections of your speech. Use and cite sources to support speech content. Make source list available. Back to you, Afton.
Thank you very much, Karine Baptiste. Marie Cusin, the best physical posture, it's the following one. The best physical posture is the following one. Marie Cusin.
But where to look to find a resilient leadership model? In a distant land? Among my acquaintances or in a bygone era? Shh. Be silent. Listen to it. Feel it. It is there within each of us. The earth, with its vascular network, it is the ultimate resilient leader of all time, and within us, unflappable orchestra conductor until dead. Dear fellow Toastmaster and guests, today let's explore the fascinating mysteries of our own circulatory system. It is an incessant dance of life unfolding within our arteries and veins. Our blood vessels guide us in the symphony of life. So come with me on a microscopic adventure where resilient leadership merged with the frenetic rhythm of our circulation. First, arteries are the highways of life. Propel oxygen-rich blood from the earth to the depths of our being. While veins, to express returns, bring oxygen-depleted blood back to the earth, ready to be regenerated. It's a close collaboration between our organs and blood vessels. For a human being of 1.70 m and 60 kilogram, they have about 5 liters of blood. That's equivalent to a 3 large 1 liter of Coca-Cola bottle. You have all that in your body. Can you imagine that? On this volume of this blood circle in our body in 1 minute. This network of blood vessels has a total length of about 100,000 kilometers, so it could wrap around the earth more than 2 times. I share the equivalent unit in the chat because I think some are lost with the unity. Secondly, just as our blood circulation navigates through complex meanders, resilient leadership guides our lives through challenges and tribulations. Faced with adversity, like the narrowing of a blood vessel, our blood cells don't hesitate to deform to maintain the rhythm. They are examples of resilience, constantly adapting their trajectory to maintain balance. Similarly, resilient leaders adapt to change, overcome obstacles, and inspire their team to do the same. One vision, maximizing oxygen delivery to cells. Strategy, passing through vessels as quickly as possible. If the diameter narrows, they deform and increase blood flow. The tactic, constant adaptability. Thus, in one day, our heart will have completed 100,000 beats at a speed of about 30 centimeters per second in the arteries, faster than the average walking speed of a person. As artery and vein cooperate to ensure optimal blood flow, high-performing teams result from harmonious collaboration. So, what is the best posture in this incessant dance of life? It's this one, indeed. For maintaining this system, movement is the best remedy. Normal blood pressure is about 120 and 80 millimeters of mercury. And do you know what? 120 millimeters mercury is similar to the pressure in a car tire. So, adopt a proactive and resilient attitude, just like our circulatory system that sustains perpetual movement. Resilience is a key skill for effective leadership. Foster adaptability and personal growth. Move, 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 like blood circulation. Let each of us become a catalyst for change, propelling positive energy through the arteries of our society. In conclusion, dear fellow Toastmaster and guests, embrace the posture of resilience. Become the leader propelling the perpetual movement of life. Draw inspiration from blood circulation with its elegant numbers and its invisible but omnipresent leadership. In this quest for resilient leadership, always remember the best physical posture is the following one. So, move it, move it, move it, please. And back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Marie, for your informative speech. Moving right along, our next speaker is Toastmaster Rozy Rana. Rosy sees tenacity and resiliency going hand in hand. She pushed herself to do this path to deliver speeches with a lighter touch. I would like to call on Rosy's evaluator, Toastmaster Nurul. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. The purpose of the project of Rozy Rana is for the member to develop their method for giving impromptu speeches and practice adapting rehearsed stories during a presentation. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Toastmaster Rozy Rana, Lucky Dip, Rozy Rana. So I, as the Toastmaster of the day, has to choose 2 questions randomly for Rozy to answer, and she would have a 2 to 3 minute maximum time to respond to each speech. I chose question number 3 from the impromptu speeches that Rozy sent me. You are at an event where the demonstration fails for some reason. The organizers call you from the audience to talk for a few minutes while they fix the issue. Over to you, Rozy, Rana.
This is one of those classic why me moments. But anyway, every cloud has a silver lining, and were it not for this glitch, were it not for this demonstration failing, you wouldn't have the pleasure of listening to me today. So, friends, let's make the most of it, shall we? It reminds me of a time when I was asked to sing at a wedding. I went to take the microphone, and what do you know? The microphone decided to take a break. These things happen. Sod's law. Have you been in traffic and then you change your lane because your lane seems to be moving so slow? The moment you change your lane, yes, you guessed it, the lane that you were in starts going very fast. It's just one of those things. One time, and it's the same time when I was asked to sing. Now the bride got really upset. She told me I had to do something to save the day, to keep it going. Not knowing what to do, somebody shouted out, "Dance!" Now me, short with 2 left feet, dance? Shocking, right? So I tried, and the DJ made the music louder and louder and faster and faster. Now for me to dance with my 2 short feet, I have to go take really many strides, unlike you lucky fellows with long feet. And just as I was trying, I stumbled and I was going to fall. Now, can you imagine my beautiful face touching the hard floor? No way was I going to allow it. In a split second, I grabbed the man ahead of me. Turns out he was a 6-foot giant. We danced together and suddenly in perfect harmony. Wow, the audience cheered and everybody was happy. The bridesmaid was the happiest of all. Dear friends, guess what? I was just about to do a demo of my dance, but I can see that the person with the demonstration is now back, and I'm very sure you would prefer his demonstration to a dwarf with 2 left feet dancing. Cheers to making the best of any situation. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Rozy. The next random question for you. Your club is holding an open house. You are asked to share a short speech about how your experience in Toastmasters and how it has enriched your life. Over to you, Rozy.
6 years ago, when faced in front of an audience, the butterflies would begin. My heart would take a leap. I would clutch at the lectern for my life. You would see the beads of sweat on my forehead. Fast forward today. I enjoy standing in front of an audience. Not today. I promise you, not today. I get a positive, zesty feel in front of an audience. What made the difference? Toastmasters. In 1997, I took a plunge. I got married. One of the things my husband had a problem with was I just wouldn't talk. I was just very quiet. Today, he can't stop me talking. The culprit? Toastmasters. What he finds extremely funny nowadays is that I talk continuously, like I am now, but for 5 to 7 minutes. And then I keep quiet for a whopping 3 minutes while someone else dissects my presentation and says what I did wrong, tells me everything I did wrong. Even more surprising to him is that I like to hear what I did wrong. I believe it will help me.
And yes, my dear friends, I do believe that telling me what I didn't do right will help me. I invite you. Today at our open house, I welcome every single guest here. Take the plunge. Trust me. When you get that feedback to grow, you will grow leaps and bounds. Like me, if you had a problem talking, you will talk in a structured, concise way. So let's journey together on this roller coaster ride. Join Toastmasters. It will be a game changer. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Rosie, for that charming presentation. Moving ahead, our next speaker is Toastmaster Hannah Schmidt. She will be completing her level 3 in dynamic leadership with this speech. In her opinion, to be resilient is to be purpose-driven. Her speech describes how she found and bought a house her grandparents once called home. I would like to call her evaluator to the floor, Toastmaster Tony. The floor is yours.
Hello. As you said, the project is from the Dynamic Leadership Pathway, Level 3. Hannah's project, the purpose is for Hannah to learn about different types of negotiation skills and the strategies that can be used when negotiating. And of course, she's probably negotiating for a house. Another purpose of the speech is for Hannah to share some of the aspects of an experience, which I think we all know what it's going to be. So I'm looking forward to it. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Tony. Hannah Schmidt, Grandma's House. Grandma's House, Hannah Schmidt.
Jenny and I were traveling down to the coast just for a short visit. Actually, we were running away from this scorching heat here inland. We made a short stop over en route to stretch our legs and get some refreshments. Jenny, come here, go quickly. This house is for sale. This house belonged to my grandparents, and I have visited them as often as I could. That painting on my living room wall, that is this house. The house was always so full of laughter, full of warmth, and had a sense of togetherness. But this house looks a bit neglected. And yet, this house is a must-buy for me. Madam Toastmaster. Estelle, my estate agent, was exceptionally accommodating and helpful. Estelle, why is this house for sale? And how long has it been for sale on the market? She explained to me that this house is for an urgent sale. The owner needed money because he's relocating to Cape Town and to send his twin daughters to university. Oh, okay, Estelle, that's fine. I am highly interested in buying this property. I'm searching for some property in the countryside. I have a few other options as well. Now that I am retired, Windhoek has become a bit too crowded for me. And I love that tranquility surrounding that home. Yet, your selling price is unfortunately out of my budget. I need to renegotiate with my bank for the finances. Please give me a few more days and I'll revert back to you. And it also needs a few repairs. Let me offer 5% less on the purchase price to cover the renovations. Sure, Hannah. But please be mindful, I have a few more other buyers on hand who are also very interested in buying that property. Let us compromise. Being Tuesday today, I'll give you 2 days and you can come back to me. Sure, Estelle, that can be done. Back home, I questioned myself. This house has been in the market for about 6 months now. No buyers? What about those keen buyers Estelle mentioned to me? The owner wants to relocate to Cape Town, therefore it is a must sell for him. Estelle depends on her commission to keep her living standards. And I want that house so badly, as it had belonged to my grandparents. So let me opt for a win-win-win outcome, whereby the seller, Estelle, and me will not be disadvantaged. And the economy is in a recession in any case. So this is definitely a buyer's market. Hannah, be resilient. Buy that house. The seller, through the estate agent Estelle, has accepted my offer. Why, I ask? Hannah, the other buyers withdrew their offers. They could not afford a bank loan either. And you showed such great interest in that house. I communicated your offer to the seller, and he is willing to sell that house at that price. Within a few days, the deal was signed and sealed, and all the documents finalized and sent off to the attorneys. My bank account was also approved. And Hannah, she is as happy as a fish in water. Have you ever considered buying a house, a home, or whatever? Let us not do it through competitive, compromising, or power-based negotiations. These are all types of negotiations that will result either in a win-lose or a lose-win or even a lose-lose situation. J.F. Kennedy said, let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. Through integrative and a win-win-win negotiation, I am now the proud owner of Grandma's house. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Hannah, for that beautiful speech. Moving right along, our fourth speaker is Sabnam Saiyed. Her speech is about a journey of understanding emotions. I would like to call her evaluator, Usli Joseph, to the floor. Usli, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Toastmaster Saiyed will present a speech on introduction on the project Introduction to Vocal Variety and Body Language. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice using vocal variety and body language to enhance a speech. And the length of the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Usli Joseph. Sabnam Saiyed, installations. Sabnam Saiyed.
Madam Toastmaster, I don't see Sabnam in the room.
Okay, moving along. We
Thank
are
you.
going.
And before you move along, if I just have a message here for Paramjit, if you can take over as the Zoom master. Thank you. Over to you.
Right, absolutely.
Thank you very much. We are going to move along to our fifth speaker. Our fifth speaker is Toastmaster Brahm Memone. After leading 2 clubs from scratch to being the top 5 clubs worldwide back-to-back within a year, Brahm's global leadership expertise is unparalleled. He will be sharing with us how clubs can be global and in peak performance. I would like to introduce his evaluator, Toastmaster Vinod Panicker. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster Brahm's purpose of the project is to identify his primary leadership style or styles, and the purpose of the speech is to share some aspect of his primary leadership style and discuss leadership styles in general. The timing is 5 to 7 minutes. Best wishes. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Panicker. Brahm Memone, critical thinking. Critical thinking, Brahm Memone.
Thank you. The speech title is Performance, which is on the agenda right now. So let me just set up my technology. Thank you very much. Performance. I walked into the room and there were just 2 people in the room. And there were 2 other people, which means 4 people in total. But those first 2 people that I mentioned were the president and the secretary of the club. The other was the division director who had invited me to be the club coach for this particular club. And the 4th person, well, she was another Toastmaster just coming as a guest speaker. And I was the 5th person. And here I'm told, well, this is your club. You're the club coach. You said you wanted to be a club coach for this club. And that was February of 2020. Now, in February of 2020, as we all know, within a month's time, what happened? The pandemic set in, and depending on where you were on the globe, everything started to close down. Where I am, in the second week of March, the church where we were meeting on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. said, here's your check, here's your rent back. We are not going to take the rent. We are closed down indefinitely. And the rest is history. With 2 people, the pandemic, the close down, and I'm to coach this club to do something. Well, there's a lot of things that I will not go into, but what I will go into is the individuals that I look for that will make a club successful. And I call that people who are really performing. The first thing we did, and that club was called My Speak Toastmasters Club. Actually, at that time, it was called Lambs to Lions, and we had to change the name and repurpose the club. And we then created a purpose statement. Why are we here? And the purpose statement was simply this: setting world-class trend in online meetings. 2 people and a coach. Well, there was another coach as well, but she never did anything and she just disappeared off the charts. I mean, with 2 people, right? The other coach just left or didn't do much. So here I was, and guess what we did? I looked for performers, and I looked for the performers in the area, in the division, in the district. And by June of 2021, we had 53 members, and it was one of the top 4 clubs globally. That is right. You heard that right. It was one of the top 4 clubs globally. And that was a community club. I left that around November, December of 2021. because I wanted an advanced club, and we created Leadership Speak, which is where you are right now. All 30 of you that is on the screen, you are at Leadership Speak. And me and my co-founder had another purpose or a reason or a vision or mandate for our members, which was a premier club for Toastmasters to become self-directed leaders. This is the most difficult thing for anybody to achieve, because you were never taught. It's not that you are not intelligent or emotionally resilient or whatever. It's just that you were never taught this thing. And so it's very difficult to learn these things as a self-directed leader. But guess what? There are performers in this club, very good performers, and they have helped from February of 2020 when it was launched and charted within a week to June of 2023. As you all know, we had 50 members and it was one of the top 5 clubs. Today, we still have 50 members. Low attrition, high retention rate. Advanced club. So who are these people? And constantly, I'm looking for these people in a club, and I put them in a special group called the A-team players, and I call them the performers. Now, in one slide, I'm going to tell you all about these A performers and who these people are. So here's this slide, and everything that you ever wanted to know about performance is on this one slide. So if you take a scale like 0, you can see that you can see nothing, to infinite, like totally bright, brilliant, and wonderful people. Somewhere in between are some performers that I'm looking for that make a club really shine and truly shine. And of course, there are others that are beyond, somewhere in the scale, you know, from this end to that end, but I'm looking for somewhere way, way over. So if you're somewhere here and you're still a high performer, that's okay. If I haven't approached you yet, eventually you will be approached and you'll be in the team. So here it is, and you decide where you stand, all right? So here's the middle line on the scale, right halfway through, okay? And then I call this underperforming. Here is the normal performance. They do exactly what's required of them and nothing else. Just do the things that are on, as in an organization, what would be called, you know, your responsibilities. What are you supposed to be doing? And they just do the minimum to just be seen as a little bit engaged, right? That's called performance. And then there's the peak performance. Now, here's the reason why, you know, most of the people are here or just slightly under. And it's not your fault if you are in that category. It's because you were never taught to be self-directed. And as you know, I get Lance Secretan to come and talk to us most often on the podcast. I think it's come about 4 times already on the podcast. And one of the biggest things that he says is what? 80% of the employees in an organization would leave that organization. They're not even engaged, and they would leave at the drop of a hat, because they are not self-directed. Their managers and their leaders are not self-directed. And so there's always this tension between people that are working there and the upper level. Now, having said that, it's because our education system has really failed us. So that's what is causing all these things. So if you are in anywhere on this scale, doesn't matter where you are, right? Don't feel embarrassed. Just assess yourself as to where you are and begin to move from here over there, okay? So that's where we are coming from. This is not a judgment at all. This is just about a self-assessment, because you're self-directed. Now, on this side, people are more self-directed. Right? They are disciplined, highly disciplined. They set goals and they make sure that they follow through with their goals. They have a vision of some sort that coincides with the vision of the organization that they are in. So if, you know, people who are in this club, their vision and the mandate would be to be better self-directed leaders. And so they're trying to and striving to, not trying, striving to be better self-directed leaders and so on, right? And they're committed and they follow through. I think I've run way out of time. Here, people are busy, they have no clarity, they have fear of missing out, so they are spread out thin all over the place, and they tend to be micromanaged a lot. So it's all to do with education, and self-education is what's really needed in self-direction. And this is what we are looking for, is to move from wherever you are on the scale to go towards infinite, adding real value, adding extra value, going above and beyond your call of duty. That's what we are looking for. That's what I look for when I create clubs like this, and I hope you can join that. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
You're on mute.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Brahm. Moving along, could the timer please put her report in the chat, please? And we would now vote for the best effort speaker. Moving right along, I'm not seeing Toastmaster or General Evaluator in the room, so we will proceed. So we would proceed with the evaluation segment.
So if the GE is missing because they have a bad connection, I can do that role, and if Paramjit can do the spotlighting, we can just do that as well.
I will do that.
Looks like a few people around the world are having a bad connection today, so we'll just carry on with what we have.
I will do that.
Thank you, Paramjit. Spotlight me, and you can take over. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. And now this is my fourth role today, because either people are away on training because they got TLI, or of course, a number of people, 4 or 5 people have had problems with their internet connections today, depending on whether in India or even Middle East, as we can see. So the show must carry on. And so for the first evaluator that I have, and I don't have any, of course, introductions for these people, but replacing Nina Joan today is Sandra Volks to evaluate our toast of the day. Sandra, thanks so much for taking on this at the last minute.
No problem at all. Happy to do so. I just have to close that so I can see. Where is Claudette? Claudette, I was listening to your toast. I didn't know I was going to evaluate, so I didn't catch the wordings that you used. But what I really enjoy when you do it, you come in prepared, scripted, and we'll talk about that, but you choose your words so beautifully, and you certainly tied it all around with the resilient leadership theme. You were very cautious with that. You have a lovely phrasing. There's no question about me understanding, and your pauses allow me to absorb it. Now, in terms of an improvement, what I would like to challenge you with, and maybe everyone, to take that leap and get away from having everything scripted too carefully. Reduce, so you've got your points, because then it's going to give you the freedom to just literally reach out and connect even on Zoom versus doing the performance. You were somewhere in between delivering and doing the performance. And that's what I love, when I get to know people, and I really get to know people by the way they reach me in here. I know you can do it. Those were the main things, going from the crafted message. That was very similar with Rosy doing her impromptu, and that's not my job there, but making it a little more prepared, scripted, impromptu. I would love to see that. The points of the toast, of course, you honored the theme and you presented it. You had a beginning, a body, and a closing. And I loved your enthusiasm to bring us all together. Be resilient, keep growing, keep stretching. So your message was there, loved it. And I'm watching ahead to see when you just let us see you. Over to you, GE Brahm.
Thank you very much, Sandra. As you know, this meeting is all spontaneous. It's like a huge table topics. So hence, if you see any hesitations by the speakers or by the evaluators or something is not quite the way it should be in an advanced club, today is one of those table topic days for us. So bear with us. And as you know, the show must go on, and it is going to go on. Our next evaluator is going to be Sandra Waltz again. And this time she's going to evaluate the Toastmaster of the day. And this is the one I'm really looking forward to hearing because the show must go on. Over to you again, Sandra.
Always, always, always the show must go on. And Afton
Yes.
and I have met a couple times. I love being able to reach out to individuals in the group. So yeah, I'm usually quiet and demure. You don't know I'm here. But I do a lot behind the scenes with private evaluations, which I really enjoy doing. And Afton, you came through so beautifully. I love your personal approach. You are so real. And that's all I care about in people. We have to be real, because if we can't be ourselves, we can't learn. So if you were to say, well, tell me, but you were going to be all boardroom, how can I know you and help you get free? So today you just flowed right through, and I started out with checking the timing, and it was bing, 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 bing. You thanked the speaker. They knew that you appreciated it, and moving right on, moving right on. When you had the interruption that Sabnam couldn't get in on her internet, it was bing, 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 accept, accept, accept. Okay, and moving right on. You are a beautiful example of moving along a meeting and still having a heart. Now, in the background, I was watching, and you were certainly coming in. I find the little chats in behind for each meeting sometimes can get overwhelming. I suggest make sure everybody is added to the group before you even start, and then you put in your resilience theme and repeat once or twice. And then as new people come in, I recognize they don't get that past chat. So then you have to repeat it. I think that's good for all of us to understand that when we see it go on and on and on. But I really liked when Brahm said, well, I can do this and I can do this and I can do this. In behind, you said, but there's so-and-so and so-and-so going to be at the meeting. Let's spread the job out. So that was beautifully done. Now, as it turned out, Brahm ended up with 4 things and I ended up with a couple. But, you know, that doesn't matter. You stepped in and took leadership and said, okay, let's use other people that are here. And I like that. So your background preparation was excellent. You thanked, I think it was Corinne was coming in and helping you once in a while. Not that we saw it, but you made the thank you for the help that was there. But I really like the way you took charge. It's your job to do. And hopefully everybody else speaks to you privately so that you can be the star, whoever's the Toastmaster of the day, rather than jumping in if not necessary, go back around the other way. So it's beautifully done. Really proud of you, Afton. You're shining. Thank you. GE?
Thank you, Sandra. Well, yes, I totally agree with you about the TMOD role. Afton has really proved herself to be one of those key players in our club that really makes this club shine. And today we saw her very own theme, resilience, and she demonstrated it in real life here in Toastmasters. Besides just saying what resilience is, we saw it in action. So thank you so much, Afton, for that. Absolutely appreciate it. Our next evaluator is Elroy Vaz, and he's going to be evaluating Paramjit Singh. Elroy. Paramjit, is Elroy here?
He doesn't seem to be here. He is not here.
Elroy, if you can put on your video so we can spotlight you or say something.
No, I'm not able
Not
to
here?
see him.
No problem. We'll move on to Karin Batiste, and if you see Elroy, give me a shout again, Paramjit. Our next evaluator is Karin Baptiste, and she's going to be evaluating Marie Cusin. Karin.
Thank you, Brahm. Congratulations to Marie for this beautiful speech. This is finally an analogy to resilient leadership compared to medical aspects. So I know, Marie, you worked in this activity, so it's a way to share with you a part of your activity. Thank you very much, Marie. I would like to share with you 3 aspects as Marie has focused. Marie, you were in a beautiful present. You have a beautiful present, you Zoom present. You have hooked our attention with different questions to your audience. It's a way to impact, to engage your public. Secondly, your voice. I like the way to tell informative story with your voice because you use a smooth and also a gradually vocal variety in order to share with us different aspects of medical vocabulary. So your vocabulary were very diversified. And also your gesture. Because you have used different ways in showing, for example, some bottles of Coca-Cola to show our blood circulates. So this is a way to memorize the circulation of blood with thick Coca-Cola. And also you have used different visual in order to captivate our attention. I would like to share with you 2 recommendations in order to make more impact in your speech. The first one is to use maybe a support or a slide in order to show different figures, because in your speech you have used at least 5 or 6 figures. And also you can, as you are also VP Pierre, you know the tools perfectly to show different figures. And also to make more emotional, inspirational your speech, you can share your story in terms of resilient leadership. I remember you were president or area director in your previous club. You can share how your experience at these important roles has turned out your resilience. How do you include some elements of this part of resilient leadership? To conclude, your speech was very structured. We feel your Zoom presence. You were connected with us. 2 recommendations had some visual support and also had some ingredients in terms of emotional. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Karin. One of the things that I loved about Marie's speech is that there was evidence that what she was talking about, she actually put it in the chat from the Harvard Medical Journal as to what she was going to talk about. So there was evidence that she had researched it, and she's in the medical field, so obviously we knew how much Coca-Cola flows through our blood, our veins. So amazing, well done for that aspect, actually, and showing the Coke bottles with you was just very well done. Thank you, Karin, for that wonderful evaluation and pointing Marie in the right direction for where she can improve. Our next evaluator is going to be Nurul Munawra, and she is a very good friend all the way from Sri Lanka's medalist distinguished past district director, and she's going to be evaluating Rosy Rana. Nurul Munawra.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Yes, Rosy. Yes, as for the project, I can evaluate both speeches or one of the speech which is outstanding compared to the other one. What I felt was that both speeches equally good. So I would like to evaluate both speeches. Let us go through the first impromptu speech. Wow, Rosie. No sooner the Toastmaster announced the speech, you started with why me moment in the opening. It really catch the audience. And I really liked the humor that you brought into the speech. Because it was the demonstrator, they have some problem in the event. All of a sudden, you are called to deliver a speech and you were in a dilemma. And you brought the humor that brought whether you want to sing or you want to dance, that you can't, you couldn't expect it. But just to explain your situation, you brought to the humor, but how when the singer comes to the stage, how the microphone fails, and in a traffic jam, how your vehicle got stuck in a lane where the traffic was not moving, and when it changed to the other lane, it was good. It was really good, and really we were able to picture the both events. And also finally you brought the 6-foot giant came, the demonstrator, and you had to dance with him. So you were more than the speech, you were even demonstrated the dance too. So it was a fantastic speech, Rosie. And I really like the way that you started and end the speech. And finally it was a very, very good impromptu speech. Within 2.5 minutes, you were able to complete the speech. The second speech, again, it is very, very useful to anyone in the audience. The open house, the short speech in an open house. So no sooner you took the topic, you really started your presentation. How before joining the Toastmasters, how you had butterflies in the stomach. And also you brought humor, how your husband felt your speeches, how you were talkative after the marriage, and there are only 3 minutes silence within any of the discussions. So that showed that how you engrossed in the you improved yourself in the Toastmasters, and you brought the evidence so that everybody could felt that how Toastmasters helped you in developing your speeches. And the final sentence was very, very strong. Take the plunge and trust me, join the Toastmasters. So that showed that how Toastmasters help you to develop your speaking skills. Although you are not speaking, now you are a non-stop talker. So anybody were able to take you as an example. Excellent 2 minutes, two 2-minute speeches, Rosie. Congratulations. Over to you, Gendre.
Thank you very much, Munawara, for that wonderful evaluation. And Rosie, are you going to be a stand-up comedian sometime soon because you're doing the humor path? It's a difficult project, this particular project, and you really put all your effort in it and did well. So thank you so much for taking on something very, very difficult for you. For me, it would be just about impossible to do this project. So you're brave and courageous. Our next evaluator is past district governor. See, we have district governors and district directors in this club. And so my good friend, mentor, and club parliamentarian, Tony Breshett, is going to be evaluating Hannah Schmidt.
Hello, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests, and especially you, Hannah. Hannah, I'm going to evaluate your speech on negotiations by describing how you made me feel. And then I'm going to give a small suggestion. But overall, I want to say that this was a unique presentation because it's about negotiations. And in our pathway project, which I love, there's 5 types of negotiations. In this case, I felt you took the approach that you chose the type of negotiation style you wanted when you bought that house. Now, a lot of people would have jumped into that opportunity, knowing the fellow had to sell the house because his daughters needed an education, and would squeeze, the guy and go for a win-lose and grind him down, and maybe gained a little financially. But I got the sense that you were aware of the negotiation styles, but you chose a win-win scenario so that everyone could be happier based on the situation, where your win was the feeling of being fair. You got a fair deal. You were not foolish, but you felt good about the way you negotiated. And the title of this is Negotiate the Best Outcome. And for you, the best outcome was the way you felt about this deal, which is very important. Now, there's 5 types of negotiations, and you covered them briefly. You handle the collaborative win-win scenario very well. When you open up with a picture, I could see you stopping and looking at that house and wanting to buy it, and you did a fair assessment. Yeah, it's a little rundown, need some money. You mentioned that it was fair. My suggestion is you would have further enhanced the feeling I received and the others received by spending a little bit more time about the other forms of negotiations that were available to you. And you did briefly, but a little bit more time. And it's tough. 5 to 7 minutes, it's tough. Well, and you did touch it a bit, but a bit more would have helped. So we would really taste the flavor of your choice, because in this case, you chose to negotiate in a fair manner for a win-win. And Hannah, what I really liked was the picture that you gave us. And I felt like listening to your presentation about negotiations with a win-win scenario, which is rare, I felt I won, and we all won, by listening to the right choice when it's available. So thank you for your presentation on this very heart-filling lesson on negotiation. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, or GE.
Thank you very much, Tony, for that evaluation. And as we all noticed, how Tony does an evaluation, he really analyzes it at a depth. That's his key strength, analyzing and seeing things that are unseen, and talk about those things, about all the negotiation techniques and everything. Very well done. Great critical thinking, Tony. We will move on. And of course, Hannah, thank you so much for the wonderful speech. I mean, the heartwarming speech and how you saved the day. Win-win-win is just awesome. I love it. Next evaluator, well, we'll go back to Elroy since he's in the room now. I notice he's in the room. Elroy, are you there? Please say yes if you are. Unmute yourself, Elroy.
Yes.
Wonderful. So if you can come on and
there was
evaluate Paramjit.
Yeah. Thank you, Toastmaster Brahm. Sorry, there was a connection problem, so I got logged off.
No problem.
So evaluating Toastmaster Paramjit. Toastmaster Paramjit, it was really very jubilant to hear you this evening. Evening in UAE, morning in the rest of the Western world, and night in Asia. So Toastmaster Paramjit, you came up with a very good example of Cafe Coffee Day and how resilient they were. They bounced back after Siddhartha's death, and Malvika turned around the company. You beautifully brought out the video on the Japanese classroom and how the teacher was trying to teach the kids about resilience and picking up themselves each time they fall. Then you gave a nice example of John Joes, the cyclist, how he was injured and he came back to cycling after 2 years. Lots of nice examples, and you even stated about how much companies can do to withstand diversity, and you gave a research assessment on Zenga Full Camp. So Nice data, plenty of examples, colorfully explained, a lot of vocal variety, beautifully done. Now, where I felt you could have improved is that you had one live case of coffee day, and you could have just focused on that, the before, the during, and the after scenario. Okay, today Coffee Day is a youth icon company in India. They have taken on the likes of Gloria Beans, Starbucks, and so on. And Coffee Day is way ahead in terms of market share and so on. The promotional mix is totally catered to the youth market. They are not only into coffee, but they have signed up into promotions in terms of t-shirts, in terms of health campaigns, and so on. So if you had just brought in all the other examples and focused on Coffee Day in depth, it would have taken your speech to a totally different level. Secondly, one personal example. How did you face a challenging situation, and what kind of resilience you develop in that situation? If that could have been brought out in your speech, I am sure you would have taken in your speech to a different level. And even since this was an 18-minute speech, instead of explaining on the slides the resilience score, you could have administered a very quick 30-second questionnaire to the audience and made them assess how resilient they are and given feedback on that. So that would have been this. My challenge for you is to be very focused and funnel down your speech to one particular example. So you had Coffee Day, get into the mechanics of Coffee Day, give your data, give your examples, all focusing on Coffee Day. You could have brought in the VUCA that you spoke about into Coffee Day, because they've turned around and they are a very successful brand in the market now. You concluded very beautifully, giving us very nice examples on how we can build resilience through gratitude, mindfulness, and positive presence. So I like the way you delivered your speech right through. You were very clear, concise. You had beautiful vocal variety. I mean, I'm sure that if you take into account these aspects that I mentioned, you will definitely move on from strength to strength. All the best to you, Paramjit, in your future speeches.
Elroy, thank you so much, and very, very well analyzed speech. What I would have liked to see, Paramjit, is actually a more vocal variety. Your voice is flat, and you really need to sort of, especially in a speech like this, resilience, a bit more passion and a bit more inspiring tones and using the high, the pause, and the low to create that emotion draw of the audience so that they can be attentive throughout the speech. But it was wonderfully researched. I loved those Venn diagrams that you had. Very well done, great presentation. And we could see you, the way you used technology right next to your slides. Wonderfully done. Thank you so much, Paramjit. Our next evaluator is going to be Vinod Panicker. Here's your challenge. Let's take on the challenge. And I talked to Vinod extensively yesterday or day before about this evaluation and how to do what I would want to see in an evaluation. So Vinod, go ahead. If you can please spotlight Vinod. There you go.
Leader, leader, leader. You all are leaders. To perform at the peak, be a self-directed leader. I wrapped it, Brahm. This can be the theme of your speech and the theme of our club. And the way I am going to critically evaluate your speech is look at 3 parts where you peaked, look at 1 part where you could peak, and give you 1 challenge. So let us dive into the first part where you peaked. The content of your story. The My Speak and Leadership Speak story, both are story which are very relatable and has got a lot of power. So I felt when you brought that problem and you gave the solution, both the stories where I really connected to it, because as a leader, I have been through that same situation. So I got very well connected to that. So the content was good. Second is your visuals. mostly when people use visuals, it is either to like what you say, compliment, but your visuals always add value to your speech. That is something that I have always observed. Even when I use visuals, it is just to complement my speech, but yours are always to add value. The third part that I liked today was your curiosity, where you peaked. Everybody, I felt, where is my name in this scale? Like, if he puts that I am not a performer, then what should I do today? So that curiosity, you were able, whether it was good or bad, I don't know, but that curiosity was there. I was thinking where my name is. So these were the three elements where I felt you were at the peak, you brought in. The other thing where you could have peaked, the first suggestion would be, I felt there were two different speeches in a 7-minute speech. The first part was my speak, leadership speak, and the second was regarding your performance model. So if I know you, you have developed this and worked on this, like self-directed leadership, we would have loved to hear more about that. So either in 30 seconds or 60 seconds, you could have just stated that this is what I had done and immediately jumped on how you developed this, and speak about people like who have helped you to do this and how you came about these models. I would have loved to hear that, or I would have loved to hear more characters and traits about people who helped you in the first story. To challenge, what I would suggest you is, give one speech where you are not the hero of your own speech. This one of something which is very basic or fundamental of speech writing, or when you're speaking, don't be hero of your speech. When you mentioned there were some heroes and there were some other people who have helped, even though the majority of the work was done by you, give some names to the character, traits to them, so that we can understand how you got help from them. So this would be the challenge. To summarize, amazing storytelling, amazing stories you have to share, fabulous visuals, work on characterization if you're working on the story, or if you want to show just performance model, get into it right from 30 seconds. Thank you very much, and back to you.
Well. Vinod, awesome. You took the challenge and you've met the challenge 3/4 of the way. So you still have 25% of the way to go. We are trying to develop with Vinod something different way of thinking about evaluations. And today he's proved that. He's thinking in a different direction and how to do an evaluation, the way we should do in an advanced club. Unfortunately, he won't be here next week, which is a evaluation training for the next evaluation training for our members. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've completed all our evaluations. Yusli, thank you so much for being in this meeting, and your speaker dropped out today because of technology. Sabnam and Asif share the same internet. They are partners in life. So they both dropped out because of the problem with their internet. Now, our standby timer was Hannah Schmidt. I think you've already put the timings in the chat for us. If not, if you can please do that. And I will move on to our grammarian, Angela Brown. And while she's doing that, Mr. Zoom Master Paramjit, if you can launch the poll. Angela, grammarian's report.
Hi, Brahm. Thank you. I wanted to let you know the word of the day was used 3 times. I found very good usage of language. Paramjit said, "Let's teach our children to get up more than they fall. When I ride to win," by Josie. I am comfortable feeling uncomfortable. And then there's Rosy said, "Take the plunge to join Toastmasters." Taking the plunge is very good. And Vinod said, "Don't be the hero of your speech." And that was good quote. That's my report.
Thank you, Angela. And please make sure that you vote for the best evaluator, which is right on your screens there, if you haven't voted yet. Thank you so much, Paramjit, for jumping in there and helping us all. We are all doing double duties today. Most of us are. Resiliency. That's what we are all about. General evaluation. Now we've seen this meeting full of resiliency from the start till the end. Everything's been resilient. And so what a timely theme for our meeting today. And this is one of those times where, as I've said before, a lot of our members are away doing TLI, which is, of course, training, officer training, and so on, or contest. This contest season is on. And because they are division directors and area directors and helping in committees in their own districts all over the world, we have what we have. And then, of course, on top of that, we've had internet problems, some in Chennai and some in Dubai and so on. So there you go. This is what we have. We are still resilient. As you can see, we are on target. Our meeting, so if you take those parts out, then what's our meeting? Our meeting was, as usual, wonderfully done, because the Toastmaster of the day was on top of the meeting throughout, from the start till the end. And that's what makes the meeting. A Toastmaster of the day in an advanced club like ours, in leadership speak, is in charge of the meeting, in charge of the agenda. I just set it up I'm the VP of Education. I just set it up initially, and then I leave it to the Toastmaster of the day, because they need to connect and collaborate, which is part of being an advanced club, which is what Afton has done, and she's received a great evaluation. So thank you very much. I think you are somewhere heading in this direction, Afton. This is perfectly and well demonstrated today. Thank you very much. On my chart, of course. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, my job is done as a general evaluator, standing by for our club president, Asif, and I will now give it back to Afton. All yours, Afton. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator Brahm. I would like at this moment to invite our Toastmaster, Dr. Ashwati Rajan, to give us the thought of the day. Ashwati, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Afton. Do not judge me by my successes. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. A very powerful quote by a powerful leader, Nelson Mandela. Well, we all know that the strongest trees in the forest are those that have weathered the harshest storms. Similarly, resilience is built through overcoming challenges. And today, our Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Afton, brought a wonderful theme for this meeting: resilient leadership. Resilience is the ability to adapt and thrive in the face of adversity. And in this highly volatile and uncertain world, this often means the ability to overcome setbacks, manage stress, and maintain a positive attitude. Resilient leaders are able to inspire and motivate their teams, build strong relationships, and adapt to changing circumstances. Resilient leaders are more effective. They build stronger relationships and are better able to adapt to the changes. And one can become an unflappable resilient leader by practicing self-care, cultivating a growth mindset, and building a support network. We, the Toastmasters, follow these in whatever we do. And today we saw a live example of that. Once again, I will quote a beautiful thought from Maya Angelou. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who are you, what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Dr. Ashwati, for that powerful thought of the day. Could our Zoom master please post the best effort speaker and the best effort evaluator?
Have you prepared the certificates?
Yes, I'm sure. It's on the screen.
Cannot see that anything.
We're not seeing it as yet.
Okay. Can you see it now?
No.
No.
You can just announce them. That'll be great. Let's move on.
Yes, we will announce them later in the chat. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, for this impromptu, riveting first time as Toastmaster of the Day. I appreciate the help of everyone who chipped in and took different roles, various roles. And I would like to send this, give all my thanks to everyone and congratulate all the speakers and all of the evaluations. I would like to give the floor to our Toastmaster, Brahm, to adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Afton. Thank you, everyone, for taking on roles and making this meeting a resilient meeting. Thank you all. We'd like to talk to the guests here, so please remain in the meeting. I will adjourn this meeting. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.